Here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She out of nowhere began complaining and screaming and whining about how Twitter didn't censor enough tweets about her. I know you'll be shocked to learn that she tried to turn it into a hearing about herself and her own victimhood, claiming that Donald Trump's tweets inspired hatred against her and demanding to know why Twitter didn't do more to delete them. In other words, she wanted more censorship. That was her anger, was that they allowed the sitting president of the United States to speak too freely. I think she was the only one on either side of the aisle in this committee hearing who kept asserting that the authenticity of these materials remains in doubt to this very day. Nobody thinks that. The New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, CBS have all acknowledged, now that the election is safely over, that they could fully authenticate these materials. It takes a level of audacity, or maybe it's just ignorance. I actually think that's what it was. She has no idea what she's talking about. She shows up for these hearings looking for dramatic moments that will viralize on social media. I don't think she knows that every major media outlet has authenticated these materials. I authenticated them. Many media outlets authenticated them before the election. But the ones she trusts have now come out and said there's no question, not only are they authentic, but the story about how they made their way first to the FBI and then to the Rudy Giuliani and the New York Post was entirely true. But what she's really angry about is that any of this is even being looked into at all. She continues to call this authentic archive disinformation. I mean, is she just a blatant liar? I'm really asking that. Even a lot of the Democrats on the committee were willing to acknowledge that the materials are authentic. No one to this day calls that disinformation anymore, except her. She considers, to this day, what the New York Post did to be immoral, even though it was accurate reporting, because the only moral metric they recognize, as Sam Harris said, is whether or not it helps defeat Donald Trump.